And we are live. Welcome everyone to episode 1 of How to Win at Lorcana. I myself am Greg, or Ultimognu on my stream slash YouTube, and I'm here with my fantastic host, Geordie Shaw. Geordie, how you going, mate?
That's me. Good, my man. How are you? Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you too. Question from the viewers at home, I'm sure. How did you get the nickname Geordie Shaw?
Big fan of reality TV.
Ah, well, yeah. I mean, aren't we all? All right, so just going through a quick intro about what we're doing here. So for this series, our aim is teaching new players the basics to evaluate a Lorcana board state and the basic strategies that go into deck building and gameplay. So just a quick run through of myself and my background. I play a lot of Lorcana. I've done very well at the set championships level. I came from playing competitive Settlers of Catan for 3 years online and did very well at that. Won a bunch of tournaments, and then back in the day, I played a lot of Hearthstone, Magic, and I also dabble in a bit of chess. Geordie,
You.
what do you like to do, mate?
Me. Also Lorcana. Also decently okay. Not as good as you, but not bad. Multiple time legend Hearthstone. One time Pokemon player. And I guess my biggest thing was I was top 8 OCE in the last couple of TFT sets, which is pretty good.
Yeah, so that's Teamfight Tactics for anyone who hasn't played that game. It's a strategy game and it's like round based. It's an auto battler, right?
Round based like auto chess, yeah.
Yeah. And how well do you think because these are all sort of strategy games, do you think being good
Hmm.
at one, you can sort of transfer that knowledge to the others quite
I think
easily?
yeah, I think there's a lot of like skill transference and a lot of just strategy games.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
a lot of the just thinking ahead is probably the main thing you need to do in every strategy game, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, going into episode 1, what we're going to be talking about, we're going to be breaking Lorcana down into 3 core concepts, and these core concepts are pretty common to almost every card game that you might play. The first one being card advantage. The second one, this is the Lorcana term, the law race, so trying to race to 20, the first. And finally, number 3 is board control. So starting off, we're going to go through these concepts at a fairly high level, and then in future episodes, we might do a bit more of a deep dive. So, starting off with card advantage. I've given a very basic definition here. Card advantage is having more cards than your opponent. And in Lorcana, this means the total number of cards in your hand, in your inkwell, and also on the board. Anything to add here, Geordie?
no, it's pretty good, pretty good. Just always good to have more cards than your opponent, more options.
It is. Yeah, I think one thing that new players, a small trap here is if you just got lots of cards in hand, you think that's really good. But if your opponent's got a lot more ink or a lot more stuff on the board and you've got lots of cards in your hand, you're not actually ahead in card advantage. So you need to take
It's an
all these things
interesting
into
thing
account.
in Lorcana, isn't it, where you gotta use your hand as a resource and your ink from your hand as a resource.
Yeah, exactly. Like if your opponent's got a huge inkwell but they've only got like 3 cards, they might be able to outvalue you anyway.
Hmm.
So one of the beginner traps that I've written down here is I have more cards in my hand than my OP. So OP in shorthand is opponent. I've just been using that to keep the slides short. So I have
Not
more
One Piece.
cards in my hand than my opponent, therefore I am winning. Uh, so this is a common trap, and if you spend the whole game just drawing cards while your opponent is building a board or questing, that is not good. So that is not always the way to think about it. Just giving a quick lesson on the ways to accrue card advantage. Number 1 is draw cards, pretty obvious. But the flip side of that, I've got prevent my opponent from drawing cards. So yeah, if you're trying to draw cards and get ahead that way, you also need to think, well, my opponent might be trying to do that as well. So if there's a way I can prevent them from doing that, that is equally as valuable as me drawing these cards. Number 2, card efficiency, and number 3, value trades. So we're going to go into these with some puzzles, and I'm going to get Geordie to break these down. These
Mhm.
two are quite related. And then finally, I'd put this as a dot point, but it's probably not so relevant. It is discarding your opponent's cards. So
Because you were a dirty discard player, I get it.
I was. Yeah, but that strategy, at least in core, is not so much a thing these days. All right, so we've got some puzzles to demonstrate some of these concepts. So drawing cards, you can do easy things like play finders keepers. You pay 5, you draw 3 cards. So you played 1, you've drawn 3, so you're at plus 2 cards. That's very simple stuff, and I think everybody understands that. Or you can play cards like Genie, and they put a body on the board and they also draw you a card. So we often call that replacing itself. It's when a card draws you one card, then it replaces itself. But these next two concepts, we have some puzzles. First one, denying card draw. So this was the flip side one of if you're trying to draw cards and be efficient that way, you also want to stop your opponent from doing the same. So here, we've got a board state, Geordie. We have just
Hmm.
sung Strength of the Raging Fire. Let's just assume the game is fairly even. Both players have a couple of cards. The ink total's
Yep.
similar. And we're both not close to 20 law. We're both on, say, 8 or 10. So who are we going to hit with our Strength of the Raging Fire?
Yeah, baby. Obviously, it does all depend on the game state, but
Yes.
in our example, it's definitely you go straight for the Dumbo, get the elephant out of there.
And
Stops obviously himself from drawing cards, stops the genie from drawing cards, stops your opponents from drawing cards.
yep, so
Yeah, which is obviously the name of the game.
we don't just go for the 2 questing genie, but he quests for 2,
No,
Geordie.
he does. He does quest for 2, but 2 versus 0 compared to 0 versus 0 on the law total is not a big difference.
Yes.
That's it. Get the elephant out. Get him out.
Absolutely. So we want to deny our opponent drawing cards. We don't just want to tunnel vision on the 2 quester here. And again, it depends on the game state. If your opponent's on 18, then we go for the genie because they're going to win if we don't. But if the game's kind of pretty early on, then card
Yeah.
advantage is quite important. All right, next board. This one's probably a bit more complicated. So
This one's a bit more interesting.
we've just sung strength. We've got 4 targets. Strength would deal 3 to all of them, and Cobra's also
But
got the
obviously,
vanish keyword.
banish the cobra.
So we could banish any of these. Let's assume in this example that both players are in top deck mode. So we have no cards in hand. Our opponent has no cards in hand. Now, who would you target with the strength?
No cards in here, so that's a tough one. There's a couple things you can do. I think going straight for the Calhoun is not a good idea,
Mm-hmm.
considering most of your board is either bigger than her or evasive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you can get rid of the Cobra if you wanted to, vanish, can't trade back into your things, but I think the right idea is probably the Dock.
Yes.
Just
And
so the
why are we
Olaf
targeting the
can't
dog?
trade it. Yeah, so the Olaf, who can bounce something when it gets banished, you don't want him to banish itself. Get the Dock back to hand, play the Dock, refill their hand, and go super wide on the board.
Yep, I completely agree. And I think this one, a lot of people are scared of the Calhoun card
Hmm.
because the effect of challenging and gaining law can be powerful.
And she's
Uh,
scary.
she is scary, but yeah, if your opponent has a chance to recur this dock back to their hand, play it again, draw 2 more cards, and then play out a whole bunch more stuff, then they are going to be well ahead on card advantage. So,
Especially in top deck mode.
mhm.
If both hands are a bit more full, I think it's Cobra.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, to stop the Cobra challenging the Lexington. But
Hmm.
yeah, I agree. And this is one of the things with cards. If you have 1 card and you draw 1, you've doubled your hand size. So drawing that card was really valuable. If you've got 10 cards and you draw 1, you've increased your hand size by 10%. Not that valuable. So cards are more valuable the fewer you have. And that's also
Mhm.
true for your opponent.
Yeah.
Alright, so next one, card efficiency. So this is trying to get an advantage by playing maybe one card, but we deal with multiple cards from our opponent. Alright, so we're going to go through some examples here. So we've just played Strength of the Raging Fire, and we've targeted the Giant Cobra, so it's going to be vanished, and that will banish it. So how many cards have we played, Geordie, and how many have we removed?
Yeah, so we've played one, remove one.
Good work. So this was an even
Thank you, thank you.
trade. This guy's played before.
This guy's counted up to one before. He's good.
No, he's very good. All right, so this was an even trade. We've played one card and we've removed one card. So in the exchange, we are +0 because we've played one, we've removed one. That was an even trade. And have you heard this term before? 1-for-1.
One for one. Yes,
So
sir.
we've played one card, we've removed one card. That's a 1-for-1 exchange. So that's a basic one. All right. Next one, Geordie. How many cards have we played? How many have we
I'll have to
removed?
count. So, we've played one, but we also get to draw a card through Hypnotic Strength, which is good. And still doesn't matter what the spell is because of the vanish keyword. The Cobra gets banished. So really, really efficient. A good twofer.
Very good. All right. So as you said, we played one, but we also drew one, and we've removed one card from our opponent. So we're +1 in this exchange because our card
Mhm.
replaced itself. So we essentially played it for free, or removed it for free, if you like. And this one we might call a 1-for-0. So we've removed one card, and essentially our hand, if we had 3 cards in hand, we played the Hypnotic Strength, we drew a card, we still have 3 in hand, so we have played 0 cards, quote unquote, if you like.
Mhm.
All right. Next one. How many cards have we played, and how many have we removed?
Yeah, so we played Raging Storm for 8, got rid of their whole board, which is good. So played one, got rid of 3.
Exactly right. So we played one, removed 3. So in this exchange, we are +2 because we've played one card, we've dealt with 3, and we can also call this exchange a 3-for-1. And this sort of thing is pretty common in control strategies where they will try and spend a lot of time increasing the size of their inkwell, and then they'll play a card like Raging Storm or Be Prepared or even Under the Sea
Rest in peace, be
sometimes.
prepared.
Yeah, all these sorts of things. Yeah, yeah, we all miss B Prep. We all do. But yeah, this is pretty common, and this is how control decks gain card advantage. They sort of spend time getting their inkwell up, and then they try and play big stuff. All right, so that is it for our rundown on card advantage. Now on to topic number 2, the law race. So the law race, I've defined it here as being closer to 20 law than your opponent. And
Mhm.
this doesn't always just mean being on a higher law total. Uh, and point number 3, if it will take you more turns to quest to 20, then you are behind in the race. Have you experienced this one before, Geordie? Where
Yeah,
you're on a bigger number,
definitely.
but you are not actually winning.
Yes, yeah. Every time you're playing something aggro against something control, and they get their board wipe off, you might be on 17, 18, 19, but nothing on board. Definitely hurts.
Hmm. Yep. So one concept I know coming from a Hearthstone background,
Hmm.
there's a saying in Hearthstone, which is your life is a resource.
Hmm.
And that's similarly true when it comes to the law race. If you let your opponent run ahead while you're sort of building up your strategy to do something big, that can be okay. And you can sort of think of that as a resource. You can let your opponent quest ahead so you can fall behind in the race as long as you have a plan to catch up.
So
But yeah,
one,
that's probably less intuitive in Lorcana. That
Mm.
This is like a resource that you can sort of think of spending to let your opponent get ahead, or you can try and play an aggressive strategy and just win the race.
Just get the 21st. Yeah,
Exactly.
simple game.
So, how? Oh, we got another one of these beginner traps that people often fall into. I have more lore than my opponent, therefore I am winning. So, yeah, like you said, if you're playing an aggressive strategy against a more control heavy strategy, and you get to 14 or 15 or something, and then they wipe your board and you have no cards in hand, you might be on more lore, but you are probably not in a good position to win the game.
Probably not winning.
Alright, so the methods for winning the lore race. Number one, questing, or
Mhm.
preventing our opponent from questing. So, similar to card advantage, we have to think about what we're doing. We want to quest, we want to increase our lore total, but we also want to try and prevent our opponent from doing that because it's a two-player game. There's an offensive side where we're trying to advance our game plan, and there's also a defensive side where we're trying to stop our opponent from doing their game plan. So, questing or preventing opponents from questing. We can play high questing characters, so that's popular in aggressive strategies. You want to play cheap, high questing stuff. Number three, we can play more characters more quickly. This is also a tenet of aggressive strategies where you want to play a lot of cheap cards and just get a lot of lore out onto the board as quickly as you can. Number four, we can play lore gain cards. So cards like the White Rose, where you just play it and you gain one lore as it enters. And number five, which is probably less relevant, but some decks do this, is reducing your opponent's lore. So cards like a Pirate's Life, which has
Mm.
been played a lot in the past. You can sort of let your opponent get to a big total, and then you can sort of claw some of that lore back with these cards. But I wouldn't fixate on that one. Definitely these earlier ones are good ways to get ahead in the race.
Yeah,
All
for
right.
sure.
All right, Jordy. Being ahead in the race,
Mm.
and this is an important point. Do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, yeah. So, just like we were saying before, just because you are closer to 20 does not mean automatically you are winning. The amount of games I have lost on 19 is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
uh, Especially if you are playing, like you were saying, a more aggressive strategy, where if you don't win relatively early, it's going to be a struggle to get that last couple of lore. But yeah, I really did like the lore as a resource thing. So when I was playing my control deck, as you know,
Mm-hmm.
my favorite decks, uh, letting them take the board early, you had to just do naturally. Just get yourself a wide board, get rid of their stuff, win in a couple turns.
Yeah. And I think even that's pretty much every Sapphire deck you play. If you're playing like
Mm.
a strategy where your turn two play is a ramp card like a Tipo or a Sail the Azurite Sea, and you're not getting a lot of stats on the board, but you're building up your Inkwell. Naturally, when you
Mhm.
do this, you're probably letting your opponent get ahead in the lore race, but you've got a strategy of how you're then going to do something bigger and get an advantage that way.
Yeah, yeah. Just get your big stuff to take out all their stuff.
Yep.
Super easy.
And then build a really big board, and then we can quest in 2 or 3 turns and win the game. All right. So we got a couple of board states. Geordie, we are on
Yeah.
18 lore. Our opponent is on
Hmm.
12 lore, and it's our turn. Who's winning the
Yeah.
race?
Pretty tough race, but I think we'll just pip them. I think we'll just get there in the end. Quest with the hook, quest with the dock, get up to 20, have a break.
Bada bing, bada boom. So in this case, we are on the bigger number, but more importantly, we are only one turn from winning, and I think this is an important message to try and learn as a new player. It's not necessarily the number 18 versus 12; it's the fact that it's only going to take us one turn to win.
Yeah.
So pretty straightforward example, but maybe a
Hmm.
bit better demonstrated in this next one. So it's our turn,
Hmm.
and let's just assume in this hypothetical that both players aren't going to play any more cards for the rest of the game, and nobody is allowed to challenge. You can only quest. So who is winning the race in this hypothetical scenario?
Yeah, well, in this one, the opponent is winning. The opponent quests for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, while you're only questing for 2. So they're on a 2-turn clock to 20. Well, it's going to take you at least 3.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So you need to count. They are 2 turns away. They're questing for 6. They only need 12 more. So even though we're on more law, we're on 14, they're on 8. Because it's going to take us more turns than them to get to 20, we are losing the race. So don't just fixate on me have big number, me winning.
Migo face.
All right, and
Easy.
on to our final topic, number 3, board control. So this is probably the hardest one to conceptualize as a new player. I think it's easy to look at the law race. I think it's pretty easy to count who's got more cards in their hand and on their board and on their inkwell. But who has control of the board and therefore control of the game is a bit less intuitive. So we're going to try and break it down here.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely the most important one as well to learn.
Yes. Yeah, definitely the most important. And if you want to go from beginner to intermediate or intermediate to advanced, this is the one that you really need to learn. So,
Or advanced to Greg.
you're too kind, Jordy. All right, so board control is controlling the flow of the game. What does that mean? It usually means having more characters or having more stats on the board. And when we say stats here, we are talking about strength and willpower. We're not talking about law pips for this particular topic. So, a tip as a beginner, if you want to figure out who has board control, if you add up the strength and the willpower of each character on both sides, usually the bigger number has board control. So that's a very easy summary, but as a starting point, I think that's quite a good way to approach it. All
Yeah,
right.
no, for sure.
So ways to take board control. Number one, and the most important one, is develop your board. So we want to be playing stats to the board every turn. And we also want to be removing stats from our opponent's side if we can. So that is the best and the most important way to take board control because we want more stats than our opponent. And yeah, two easiest ways. We play more stats, we remove their stats. Number two, and this is probably more of an intermediate concept, but it's a good one to bring up. We've used the term value trades. And what that means is we don't want to just quest with our characters if our opponent has a way to cleanly challenge them and remove them because we are getting 1 for 0'd like we discussed earlier, and we're giving up stats for free. And on the flip side of that, if our opponent does that and they give us favorable challenges where we can challenge one of their characters and have our character survive, that is a really good and really important way to take control of the board. All right, number 3, play removal cards. So that can either be single target removal, like Strength of the Raging Fire, where we're just targeting one character, or it can be cards like Raging Storm or Be Prepared in the old formats. So we
Rest
are.
in peace.
I know, I miss B Prep, I really do. So
My favorite card.
yeah, it was a banger. Uh, no other way to say it. So yeah, cards like that, if we can remove lots of stats from our opponent's side of the board, then we are clawing control of the board back. But something that you probably want to think about there, if you've got more stats on the board than your opponent, there's no reason to play this Be Prepared card because we already have control of the board, so that's not actually helping us. And finally, this one's related to developing your board. A good way to do that is to play big stats or overstated characters, or play our characters out more quickly. Have you got some examples of these points, Geordie?
Yeah, so play big stats is a big sapphire. Like, what's the word? like a thing that the Sapphire wants to do all the time,
Hmm.
is they're going to skip their turn two, they're going to ramp, they're going to play, and then they're just going to cheat a mana essentially for the rest of the game. Cheat an ink, sorry,
Yep.
and just play a bigger unit every turn than you can because they're always up an ink. Um, and in terms of playing characters more quickly, the dogs deck that I am on is a perfect example of this, where you just flood the board by turn three or four, um, and just outvalue your opponents that way.
Absolutely. And the other way we can play big stats is popular in the steel strategies. It's cards
Mm,
like the Black Widow or Calhoun, where you're essentially paying two for a 3/3, so a 3 strength, 3 willpower character, or you're paying 3 for a 4/4, so a 4 strength, 4 willpower, like a Cobra or a Lexington.
mhm.
So you can play what we call overstated cards, which have more strength and willpower for their cost than the average card. All right, so we got a couple of puzzles here. Number one,
Mhm.
so in this scenario, we're assuming we're playing Blurple or Sapphire
Mhm.
Amethyst, and our opponent is on Purple Steel. So we're on the play in this example. We've just played our Elsa, so both players have got some cards in hand. The lore totals are pretty low. We've just played our 5 ink character for the first time. And we need to decide who are we going to exert and who are we going to challenge, or are we going to challenge? So walk me through your decision making here, Geordie. How do
Yeah.
you want to
So,
take board control?
so obviously, yeah, you're playing the Elsa. You can exert anything you choose,
Hmm.
um, and you've got your big statted Madam Mim elephant there.
Hmm.
A couple different ways you could do it. You could always choose the Cobra, double trade in.
Hmm.
None of your stuff vanishes. Get rid of the Cobra. Um, you can do the same thing. Well, not the same thing. You can exert the Calhoun, take it out with your elephant.
Hmm.
Leaves your elephant with 4 willpower, which is a bit scary
Hmm.
because it's a very easy trade for the Cobra.
Yep.
So I think the right decision is to take out the Captain Hook with
Hmm.
your Elsa and leave your Madam Mim face up.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
I like that line too because this Madam Mim is quite scary for our opponent. It's hard to deal with. It's got a good challenge into the Calhoun, and if we do get a nice challenge at some point into the Calhoun with some damage counters on it, we then threaten to move those to other characters. So,
For
and
sure.
yeah, our Elsa is in no danger if we challenge the Captain Hook because we have evasive.
Mm,
Neither of these characters can really do anything on the opponent's side. So, I like that play. All
yep.
right, now onto a slightly trickier case. It's the same board, same scenario, but now this Cobra has been replaced with a Lexington, which has the alert keyword, so it can challenge our evasive characters. So
Yep.
break this
Lexington
one
is
down.
much scarier.
Yeah, absolutely. The Cobra, once it's on the board, it's a 4/4 with Vanish. It's not a
Yep.
very super scary card, but this Lexington is a bit more of a headache. So walk us through this scenario, Geordie. What do you like here?
Yeah. So again, there's a couple different ways you can do it. We can do exert the Lexington, double trade.
Hmm.
Same thing. Both of our characters will live. But the key difference this time is Madam Mim will only have 3 willpower, which makes either a Captain Hook or a Calhoun an easy trade.
Hmm.
Um, you can exert the Calhoun, take it out with the elephant.
Hmm.
Uh, then now the Lexington gets a super easy and super nice trade for the opponent,
Hmm.
leaving that with 1.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so I think we probably do not quite the same thing, but we'll exert the Captain Hook and
Hmm.
we'll take it out with the elephant,
Yep.
and leave the Elsa facing up this time.
Yeah. So I agree. So if we just exert the Captain Hook, challenge him with the Elsa, then the 4 strength of the Lexington, we only have 4 health left on our
Mhm.
Elsa. Very easy challenge for our opponent. But yeah, the difference here, if we challenge the Captain Hook, I think, and maybe a good point to talk about here, this Madam Mim
Mm,
has 7 willpower.
yep.
So our opponent, the Captain Hook, can potentially challenge it for 3. The Calhoun can potentially challenge it for 3. So if they challenge those two in, that adds up to 6. So that doesn't work.
Mm,
But this Lexington over here has the 4 strength. So either Lexington plus Calhoun or Lexington plus Captain Hook can challenge our Madam Mim for 7. So we don't want to let our opponent do that. We don't want to let them get the easy 3 plus 4 equals 7. So if we just did something silly like quest the Madam Mim here, we give our opponent a very easy challenge. Their Lexington survives. They've still got a Calhoun or a Hook, and we've just given up a character for free. So that is not
Mhm.
board control. So yeah, I like that line. I agree with you. I think we exert the Captain Hook. We challenge in the Madam Mim. And then our opponent still needs to challenge in with the Calhoun and the Lexington. Calhoun does not survive. Lexington survives on 1. And then we can clean it up the next turn with the Elsa. So if we do it that way, when everything's kind of shaken out and the dust settles, we're left with an Elsa with 1 willpower. Whereas if we do it any other ways, we are not necessarily removing all of our opponent's characters and leaving characters for us. We may leave something on the board. So yeah,
Yep.
I like the way you break that down. You sort of got to think, what are my options? I got 3 exerts, and then you can also challenge or double challenge. There's a few different ways to do it. So you just need to take your time, think out the
Mhm.
board state, think about the challenges that your opponent wants to make, and don't give them those for free. All right,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
that is all we have today, Geordie. Any shout outs you want to do? Any socials you want to plug?
No, I'm not a social guy. This is all you. This is all you, Greg.
All right. Well, I got a couple of Discord servers that I run, so I'll put some links to those below. No Instagram, no anything.
Nah, no, not one that I want people finding anyway. Nah, nah. I think I'm good. This is all you. This is all you, Greg.
All right, mate. Well, thank you for your time. Thanks for joining me. And in the next
No, thank you.
episodes, the plan is we'll do probably some deeper dives on some of these concepts and go in on a bit more detail.
Sounds good. Sounds good. See you then.
See you, mate.